Have you ever sent an invoice off to a client and then wondered if you just undercharged? There is a way to price projects in a way that will stop clients from pushing back without leaving money on the table. In this video, I'm going to show you the exact system that I use with all of my clients, as well as the framework that I've taught to all of my students who are tired of guessing at their own rates. Here's what we're going to cover: the universal formula that I use to price all of my equipment rentals, exactly how I charge for my time, including when a team is involved, and a simple ethical sales approach that makes clients comfortable with approving invoices. Once I switched to this system, my revenue jumped up an average of $500 per invoice. But more importantly, clients started calling me back with transparent budgets rather than shopping around for better rates. Now, you can do all of this manually in a spreadsheet. I did for years, so you'll want to go ahead and take notes as you follow along. That being said, if you'd like to know more about the app that I'm using here to build my quotes and invoices, there will be a link in the description below. Also, if you're a client-facing filmmaker trying to build a sustainable career, I share breakdowns and insights like this in my weekly newsletter as well. You can take a link below to sign up. Now let's jump into this. All right, so the first thing you're gonna want to do is actually add all of your equipment, whether it's cameras, lenses, tripods, all sorts of stuff, whatever categories you want to add. Go ahead and make sure you categorize every single piece of equipment that you have that's worth actually renting out. So let's say you have a Blackmagic Pixis 6K kit. The replacement value is $4,000, which includes the body, maybe memory card, and a cage. However you want to price this. Some people choose to only use the body itself only as the main price and throw the other stuff on extra. Some people choose to say the entire kit, including cage and everything else. So however you want to price this out as the replacement or MSRP value is up to you. So let's go ahead and say we have our Pixis 6K kit, which is worth $4,000, comes with a cage and memory card. So we add that to our inventory, and then you'll see here you have an automatic price per day that's calculated. Now, I've done a lot of research on what this number should actually come to. I've seen local rental houses charge as much as 7 or 8% per day of MSRP. I've seen online places and even ShareGrid sometimes charge as low as 2 or 3%. But then you get hit with either shipping or service fees or whatever the online store charges you for that. So realistically, that 2 or 3% isn't super accurate. And the 7 or 8% for local places is generally really big rental houses that then kind of tend to cut people deals anyway. So I found that 5% seems to be kind of the sweet spot. Plus it makes math pretty easy. You can just knock a zero off and then cut the number in half. That's how you reach 5%. So a $4,000 camera becomes worth $200 per day. Then we want to go ahead and add things like our lenses. Let's say we have a Sigma 18 to 35 millimeter art lens. Let's say that costs $800 to replace, and this is EF mount. All right, so we're gonna add that to the inventory. Now, we can use this to create our complete list. You can also do this in a spreadsheet. I'm gonna go ahead and import a CSV, which has an equipment inventory I already added previously. So now I have a full kit list here, including lenses, lights, and all sorts of things. Once we go and add some lights, a couple of lenses, and say maybe a light modifier and a couple of C-stands. Then we go over to our crew page and we can add individual members of the crew. Again, you can do this on a spreadsheet. It doesn't have to be here. I'm just showing you because this is a much more streamlined way that I have discovered to actually do this thing. So when we add crew, we want to make sure that we're basing our rates off of the union rates. Now, before you say, but I'm not working union, why would anyone pay me union rates? Basically, think about it like this. The unions exist because clients take advantage of people. If everybody was being paid the industry standard livable wage based on the industry they're in, the city that they're in, and the inherent risks involved in that work, we wouldn't need unions. So even if you're not doing union work, it's worth using union rates as your baseline. And you can come down however far you want beneath this, but know that you're basically giving your client a discount off of what a giant conglomerate of people have done a ton of research to decide is actually a livable and fair wage for this work. So I'm gonna go ahead and add director of photography, that's me. And because I'm also camera operating on this particular gig, I'll add a first AC to pull focus for me. Let's also grab a gaffer, and maybe this is a lower budget production, so they only have room for an extra PA, but not a proper grip. So looking at these rates here, you can see that we have the minimum 8 hours as well as the standard 12-hour rates, and these come directly from the union rate charts. I also have these downloaded, and we'll have a link below in the description as well if you want to download the union rate charts for 2026. So in this instance, let's go ahead and assume that the client has agreed to only $750, which we know is below the 8-hour union rate. Now, if a client asks if you're willing to come down to $750 for your day rate, if you want to accept that rate, it's okay to do so, but make sure you explain to your client, yes, I can give you that discount because even though we're gonna work a 10 or 12-hour day, which is a standard production day, I'm giving you a cut rate below the 8-hour union minimum. Technically speaking, I should be charging you $1,500 for a 12-hour day, so coming in at $750 is basically giving you half off. With that in place, you can basically scale the rest of the positions to effectively match the same kind of discount, which will make your client super happy. So I like to use this to explain the need for extended crew to a client, especially on a tight budget shoot. If you have 4 times the people, you have 4 times the man hours to actually accomplish things on set. It takes time to physically move lights, to physically reposition the camera, to swap lenses. And with 4 times the people, they can basically get 4 times the number of shots that they would have normally gotten out of having a single operator. And since they're already paying a DP $750 for the day in this instance, basically you take $750, $250, $500, and $450, and you come to $1,950. For simple numbers, let's call that $2,000. So basically you have a client who wanted to pay maybe $500 for a single day rate for a solo owner operator, and you can basically tell them, look, with the amount that you're spending on the crew and having 4 people, it's as though you have 4 days out of a single owner operator who would come out with a camera just for $500. So they end up actually getting a way better deal with a way more experienced crew. Now, with your inventory picked out for the project, as well as your crew list fleshed out, let's go ahead and jump over to our quote draft where we actually put these numbers together and give the client that final special attention that's gonna make them really appreciate the work you put into this thing. So let's go ahead and assume that this is a project that's gonna happen over a weekend. We have 2 shoot days and equipment that's gonna be on set both days. Now, you'll want to stick to the industry standard rental rates, otherwise you're gonna be beaten out by every rental shop and a few of the online resources too. So you're basically gonna wanna say, I adhere to the 1-day weekend, 3-day week rule, which is where I only charge 1 billable day for my equipment if you pick it up Friday evening and drop it off Monday morning. And if you do a 5 to 7 day work week, I will only charge you 3 billable days. You can calculate this manually as well in a spreadsheet, or in this instance, I've built this system in a way that actually does that for you. So let's assume that our shoot days are actually gonna be on March 7th and March 8th, which means this is gonna be 2 shoot days over a weekend, which is only 1 billable day for the equipment, but 2 billable days for the crew. So while the equipment has already been updated to be only 1 day, let's jump back to the crew and make sure that we add an extra day for each of the crew members for this invoice as well. Then with 1 rental day scheduled out for the equipment and 2 crew days, we have our subtotal for the actual invoice down here below. Now, when it comes to invoicing, making sure that your client is aware of the amount of money that's on the line in terms of equipment is super important, especially because they're agreeing to actually take accountability for this gear. So it's important to have the total equipment replacement value on this form, whether you're physically with the gear or they're renting it out and taking it away for their own production. Once you have the replacement value established and your subtotal is also on there, depending on your relationship with your client, you can choose to give them either a first-time discount or a repeat customer discount, or even just a trusted client discount. This is also a great place when you have a client who says, yeah, but the budget's only $3,500. Is there any way you can come down and meet me there? If you choose to go ahead and reduce your rate or reduce the value of the equipment, this is where you come into the discount line and basically give your client that little bit of extra special treatment that makes them feel super special. This way, you now have a client coming in and going, wow, $3,000, that's a super deal. Thank you so much for everything you've done to make this fit my budget. Rather than the other way around, where a client comes in and says, hey, what's it cost to get a couple days of shooting? Really just looking for one operator, but if you need someone, they can come out. And you go $3,000, and they go, whoa, $3,000 is a lot, right? So you generally want to lead with the value of what's being offered before you show the price. So you want to make sure that your client knows the industry standard rates compared to the rates that you're agreeing to work or that you have your crew agreeing to work, as well as the replacement value and what a quote should have cost for the scope of what they're asking before you apply any special discounts. Granted, a discount of nearly $1,000 on a $39.97 project is a little steep, especially because this client would have already brought me down on the price for my time and my crew. I'm a little less inclined to give them a big discount on the equipment itself. So I might, just for the sake of having a nice round number here, go ahead and drop this maybe another $147.50. Just so they have like a nice little round number here. I can tell them that I've given them about an extra 5% discount, even on top of the reduced rates. And they just say, man, that is so great. I really appreciate that. I can see how much work you've done here to make this fit within my budget. I'm not even going to ask you for anything more than you've already given me. And this is why the client, by the time you reach this number, already says, wow, you've given me so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I really appreciate that. This also is why when they come back in the future, knowing you'll take care of them, they're more likely to come back and just say, hey, here's the budget I have available. Can you make this work? Then you get to be in the position of coming into this system and actually dialing in a custom quote of equipment and crew that will make your life easier for actually managing people and managing the scope of the production. Then you become a collaborator who's involved in the budget and you can do a better job. So even though you're making more money and your client's happier, you also get to do a better job and everybody wins. So quick recap, you want to make sure you're sticking to the 5% rule for rentals with the 1-day weekend, 3-day week rule. You want to make sure that you're basing all crew day rates, including your own, on union standard minimums. And 3, you want to make sure that you're always leading with the value of what's being offered before you come to a final price, and feel free to add whatever discounts you want to on top of that. That is your right to do, and it gives you a lot of goodwill with your client without just taking free work. But none of that matters if you're taking on the wrong projects. So watch this video next, and I'll walk you through the exact filter that I use to decide whether or not a project is even worth taking on.